Hey everybody, I'm so excited to be joining you again for another one of our 31 Days of Encouraging Conversations chats. I am here with my sweet friend Aliza, and you are going to love her. We have gotten the chance to do one of these chats before over at Encourage. We talked with Liz Curtis Higgs about mentoring, but I'm really excited today to spend some time with Eliza, talk about what's on her heart. She has such a passion for encouraging women, and she has a real passion for encouraging women to believe that they are enough. And this is a message I know I need to hear, and I know one that's on her heart. So I'm just really looking forward to what she has to share with us today, and I know you'll be encouraged. So as you know, you watch these, if you want to just play it in the background and listen to us like a podcast while you're running around doing dishes or on your way to work or whatever, feel free. You don't have to, sit down in front of the computer and watch us. But we are so excited that you are joining us, and we're just praying that you will be encouraged today. So I'm going to turn it over to Eliza and have her introduce herself and tell us where she blogs and where she lives and just whatever fun stuff she wants to share about herself. So Eliza, it's all you, girl.
Hello, it's so nice to meet you all. I feel like I'm always on Crystal's blog, so I feel like I kind of know you guys because I always read the comments, but it's nice to kind of officially, formally meet you. I'm Eliza. I'm 20, and I live in Dundas, Ontario in Canada, so pretty exotic according to all you Americans. And I blog at alizanaomi.com. And right now I'm doing a 31-day series, hopefully, if I haven't backed out by now. No, I won't. I promise. I'm promising Crystal. And I'm doing it 31 days to choosing enough, because I feel like being enough is a choice that we're making, and I'm just kind of trying to figure that out right now. So if you ever want to pop in, you're welcome to. What else about me? I'm a Starbucks barista. It's really fun. Not really, but that's okay. And I do art, and I write for Encourage, and I design T-shirts for this amazing organization called #Hope. Yeah, it's fun. I'm pretty busy right now, but I really like it. So, yeah, thanks for having me here today.
Well, I'm really excited, and I do have to ask you a completely unrelated question. So as a Starbucks barista, I know that you are not a fan of the pumpkin spice latte, which is fine. We can still be friends. It's okay. What is your number one drink? If you order anything at Starbucks, what do you go for? What is the barista's inside scoop on this one?
Well, I'm pretty weird. Like other people, a lot of the baristas love the pumpkin spice. I don't like I don't like lattes. I just really don't like the espresso. So I love coffee, but I don't like the espresso. So I get a vanilla creme, and it is pretty much just steamed milk and vanilla syrup, but it is so good, especially on a winter day. You got to get it sometime. Promise. Like, it is so good. It's like vanilla hot chocolate, but I don't know. It's really, really good.
Okay, I feel like I need to go get one of those now, so probably as soon as we're done talking, I'm going to run over to Starbucks and get one. I'm so easily swayed, and I will try anything, so we're good. It'll be fun. You can just text me good recommendations for coffee, so you're like, I'm at Starbucks, what do I get? So I absolutely love your 31-day series topic, and since this is going to be going live on day 2, you can't give up yet. You can give up tomorrow. You can't give up on day 2. So let's talk a little bit about choosing enough, because I think that, especially for those of us who are so just online all the time, right? Society gives us enough to compare to and enough to judge ourselves against, but when you're online, those lies just sneak in even more and even louder, right? So what is it in your life that you have really felt like God has said, in your life, you need to start choosing enough, and what does that look like for you?
It's an interesting question, because I was trying to think of an answer to that before our hangout, and really for me, it's like, honestly, almost every single aspect of my life. I think I'm sure this is, okay, well, I'm a young female, so I'll just talk from my perspective and not anyone else's, but from my perspective, I really struggle with my looks, and I think particularly just in this day and age with how, even on Pinterest, like I've almost stopped going on Pinterest because of how sad it made me, just from looking at all of these pictures of these seemingly perfect girls with these awesome hairstyles and these incredible clothes, and I'm like, this is so overwhelming. I could never do that. This is terrible. I could never make myself an outfit like that, and I hardly shower, so my hair will never look like that. And so looks for me was a big one. But then writing also became huge. Before Encourage, I just wrote very sporadically and whenever I felt like it, and I was constantly journaling, but never really publicly. And then I was able to do Encourage, and all of a sudden it felt more public to me. And even still, I mean, I've only been blogging for Encourage since April, but every time I put a post there, I think I know I'm not like as good of a writer as all of these girls, you know. And in my head, I thought I'll never be enough for them. Like, I will never be good enough. And I keep feeling like God is telling me, like, Aliza, I've given you these opportunities, you know, for Encourage, but more than that, you know, even in Starbucks, he's showing me that that's an opportunity to show that, like, to choose that I am enough. And so right now I'm just learning that even in those moments where my unenoughness is very big to me, that God has created me enough. And I know that I don't want this to be a cliche answer because it's not easy for me, but I am learning that I have to go back and say, okay, I am enough because God has made me enough, even in those moments where I don't feel enough. So, I don't know. It's a journey, I think.
Yeah, it is. And I love your perspective on it, and I love that, you know, you have seen how God is using, you know, things that you love to do, like your writing, and he is showing you that you're enough in that, and things that you don't always love, like your job, and he is showing you know, how to make that, you know, something that can glorify him because he's put you there for a reason. And so is there any specific scripture that you go back to whenever sort of those doubts and comparisons and things start to creep in? But first, let me just tell you, girl, you are a phenomenal writer. And when you post, you blow my mind, like every time. Every time. So if you ever need a reminder that you are enough and that you are a fantastic writer and you are talented, you just give me a call because I will preach that to you all day, every day. But so is there any scripture or a quote or anything that you go back to when you sort of need an extra boost of encouragement?
There is, and thank you. You're so sweet. And I always do go to you for encouragement. I feel like I'm constantly just like voxing you since now that you've introduced me to that. This is one of my favorite verses, and it's Ephesians 2:4-6. So I guess it's more than one verse, but whatever. And this is in the Voice because I love the Voice translation. And this is what it says. It says, "But God, with the unfathomable richness of his love and mercy focused on us, united us with the Anointed One and infused our lifeless souls with life, even though we were buried under mountains of sin and saved us by his grace. He raised us up with him and seated us in the heavenly realms with our beloved Jesus, the Anointed, the liberating King." And for me, even though that doesn't blatantly say, like, Aliza Latta, you are enough, I chose you, you know, to me it's like he took me in all of my sin and every, you know, very human part of me, and he raised me up to sit next to him, you know. And if that doesn't say that you're enough, like, I don't know what it does. So I go back to that one again and again and again. I love that verses.
I really like that so much, and it is true. I mean, we are called and we are chosen by God, right? We are heirs to the throne, and nothing can make us more enough than being daughters of the King, right? So for me, you know, there are things that I struggle with for sure. In writing, absolutely, is a struggle for me where I don't feel like enough. Motherhood, being a good wife, all these, you know, all the titles, you know, if you could run down in your head the list of titles that you have, you know, even the ones that never would make it on a business card, you know, for me, you know, it's chauffeur and cook and housekeeper and mom and wife and writer and, you know, the jobs that do go along with my title. There are days where I just am like, God, why? Why did you give this to me? Because I know I'm failing at it. I know I'm not good enough. I know somebody else could do it better. But when you're in the Word, whenever you have scripture like that God can bring to mind to encourage you, and He tells you in scripture that you are enough, He does. That is a promise that He makes. That is something He tells us. We are enough. We are chosen by Him. There's nothing we can do to separate us from God's love. That is enough. There is nothing on Pinterest that we could ever do to make us qualify or unqualify for God's love, to be chosen by Him. I am not crafty. We were just talking earlier before we started recording about this thing that hangs behind me. It actually, my mom made it because I found it on Pinterest before I had my daughter. And I have a sewing machine that's totally buried under a bunch of stuff in a closet. And I was like, well, it'd just be easier to ask her to do it. And, it's just, for me, Pinterest has to be a place where I can be inspired by the things that I want to be inspired by, and I have to use it sparingly, and I have to know my limitations and understand where God has called me to. And Aliza is a phenomenal artist. She does hand lettering like nobody else I've ever seen, and she can take a quote and turn it into the beautiful art. So one thing I would definitely recommend is, if you have a verse or something, a quote that really inspires you, that reminds you that you are enough, reminds you that you are chosen, and encourages you to chase after the calling God has given you, find someone like Aliza and ask her, hey, would you do this for me as, a print that I could hang up? The one, okay, everything's backwards for me, so I'm going to see if I can do this the right way. The one back here over my shoulder. Gotta go that way. All right. That's what that Aliza has done for me, and it's a quote from a post that I wrote for Encourage, and she was so kind to do it for me, and it is just a reminder to me every day when I see it. And so, whether you make a printable, whether you have somebody create it for you, if that's not your gift, and that is okay. I know what my gifts are, and that is not it, but it is totally Aliza's. So, partner with people who have those strengths, who you can say, I need a little encouragement in this. Could you help me? Would you partner with me in this and encourage me? And it's definitely a big help for me to see those words, to be in Scripture, to have the Scripture in front of me, to have quotes in front of me, to remind me on those days where it feels like the world is pushing in, right? Like our heads are going to just collapse over all of the comparison and all the things we think we should do and say yes to that aren't even ours, right? That aren't even ours to do. And when we say yes to the things that aren't our calling or our gifting from God, we really won't feel like we're enough, because that's not where God has given us our strengths, right? So it's knowing, what God has asked us to do, trusting that He has put us where He wants us for a reason, and knowing that He called us and He says we're enough and nothing else matters other than that. So I totally took over all of Eliza's words.
I do want to say that I'm going to do some printables on my blog during this 31 Days series. So if anyone wants, I don't know when, I'm thinking Friday or Saturday, who knows. See, that's the thing. I'm so unorganized that is not my quality, my good strength or anything. Who knows? But I promise you there will be some on it. So if anyone wants to just pop in every so often, they'll totally be free, and you can print out 1,000 if you want. Just don't sell them.
Totally. Yes. No, that makes sense. So I love that, and you have such a generous heart, and I love how you are taking something that God is asking you to work through to encourage all of us. So is there any just final piece of encouragement or any other resources or anything else that you use just whenever you're having one of those days where you just, kind of need a friend or need somebody to remind you that you are enough?
Yeah, I want to say Jennifer Dukes-Lee, her book, Love Idol, if anyone is, wanting something a little bit deeper, I would say get that. I love that book. She is so encouraging through that with talking about being enough, about not comparing each other. And I also just want to say that if you feel unenough, you're not a failure, and you're not like, wow, well, Crystal and Eliza seem to totally have it all together, and they clearly have gotten over this. And I just want to say that no, because in about 10 minutes, I'm going to think, oh my word, I'm not enough, So every day, every 15 minutes, I have to remind myself, okay, no, it's okay, you are enough. And I got to tell you that most of the time I don't, and a lot of the time I just like wallowing in that, oh, I feel so bad for me, So I want to say, it's okay. You're not alone. This is a journey, and we can go through this together, and we're not perfect and none of us have this, and I, half the time don't even know what I'm talking about, but I'm just telling you what I feel. So yeah, I just want to encourage you that we're in this together. And I think even with these 31-day series, it's such a unique and incredible tool that we have to really come together and just encourage each other. So yeah, that's all I have to say.
I love it. It is so true. We don't have it all together at all. I mean, we're just human, and we are walking this journey too. So, and that's why this is something that I think is really important for us just to share some encouragement in, because there are days where, I'll pick up my phone and, Vox Aliza and be like, girl, it is a day, and she'll just get it. So I think that in addition to being in Scripture, Love Idol is an excellent recommendation. We both highly recommend that one. But also finding, one or two women in your life who get what you do, right? So I have amazing friends in real life, but they don't really understand the blogging side of things. So I have a couple key women that I go to whenever I'm feeling like I just need encouragement in that arena. And then I have my real life friends who I can go to who understand exactly what's going on, and they understand the history of me and my family and things that we're going through there. And being able to have those trusted relationships, even if it's just one or two people to reach out to and just let them know, today I'm not fine. I don't feel enough. I feel like I'm failing everything. Will you just pray for me? I think that that is a huge encouragement and something that you can easily add to your toolbox of things to do. Because if you ask God for encouragement and you ask Him for wisdom, He will give that to you. It says in Scripture, ask and you will receive, right? So ask Him for wisdom. Ask Him to bring women into your life who understand and support and encourage you and will walk alongside you, and who will be honest with you on the days where they feel like they're not enough either, so you can pour back into them, because that's what this community is all about, right? So we are all on this journey together. None of us will be perfect on this side of heaven, so we are all works in progress, but we are walking it with you, girls. So I think that is all that we have. So we're going to wrap it up here, but if you would, we would love to just have you hang out with us in the comments of the post today. So come over and just let us know, where are you struggling to feel like you are enough, because we want to pray for you and encourage you today. Or if you have other resources or Scripture that you use whenever you have a day where you're just feeling like, man, I don't even know if I can do this. Why am I called to do this? Whatever that encouragement is, we'd love to know that too. We are all about more Scripture and more books and more encouragement and more resources. So if you have something that you want to share with us, come on over to the comments, and I know it will be a blessing to everybody else if you would do that. So we will have more of these videos, so be sure to follow along this 31-day series. You're watching over on Aliza's blog. Hello! I'm so excited to sort of have our community share with one another today. And then you can always go follow my YouTube channel if you want to make sure you don't miss any. But there's all kinds of ways to catch up on these if you miss any throughout the month. But we will be back with more awesome encouragement, and we will see you guys later. Bye!